I'm such a private person. I don't actually really like to do interviews so much. So this is your lucky day.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. And this is the lucky day for our audience too.
No, but I mean, it is a pleasure to be here. And speaking in English is something that I love. So it's a very wonderful moment for me to be here and share my experiences with you.
Be quiet on set.
Tero Documentary presents Filming in Thailand, a podcast for movie lovers with exclusive stories from behind the scenes.
Rolling sound.
Sound rolling.
And action.
Hi, I'm your host, Stéphane Lambert, and this is a new episode of Filming in Thailand. And here we are for a new episode of Filming in Thailand, and today I'm so honored and glad to welcome Sonia Couling with us.
Sawadee, or should I say bonjour?
Wow, international. So you just spoke Thai and French.
Yes.
So sawadee ka
Sawadee.
et bonjour. Bienvenue.
Merci. It's a pleasure. I do apologize in advance for the sound of my voice. You know, I just recovered from the flu, so I'm going to sound like a little bit of a ladyboy for this afternoon.
What is a ladyboy for our audience who are not familiar with the term?
Well, you know, we're very famous with that in Thailand. Well, it is, we have very beautiful ladyboys in Thailand. It is a beautiful lady who was born as a man and feels like she wants to be a woman.
And Thailand is very open-minded about all that kind of stuff.
Super open-minded. We also have amazing doctors.
Okay, let's go back on track.
Well, you know, this could be something to film in the future.
Oh, okay.
Filming in Thailand.
Sonia, you're also called Kun Pim in Thailand. This is your nickname. So how should I call you?
Call me Sonia.
Sonia.
Pim is my Thai nickname, but it's not. I you know, when I speak English, I think Sonia sounds nicer.
Okay. And so usually in Thailand, people have a nickname because the names are very long.
Exactly.
Sonia is not that long. So why did you need a Thai nickname?
Well, I need to stick to my Thai roots. My mother wanted to make sure that, you know, I was always Thai. So she gave me a Thai nickname. And also, I don't see very many Thais being able to pronounce my name properly, especially spell it. So I have, it's spelled Sonia. And for the rest of the world, it's Sonia.
Sure.
I've had many arguments over the phone when I say Sonia, Sonia, and the smart operator on the other end would say, no, that is Sonia. So I said, that's my name. I know exactly how to spell it.
Sure. Obviously, yes.
So they say Sonia. So that's why it's a bit easier for them to call me Pim.
So, your nickname is Pim. Does it mean anything special?
No, I think it's taken from an old book where the main character is Pim. Okay. And apparently she has fallen in love with two men and ended up heartbroken with both.
With both?
Yeah, so I said, thanks, Mom. Is that my future?
So how is it going so far for you?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay, excellent. How did you decide to be an artist?
It was actually by chance. I was 13 and I was discovered in my school playground.
I read parking lot.
Well, parking lot after school.
Okay.
She wasn't allowed into the playground. But yes, it was I was 13 and I went for a casting that afternoon. My dad used to work with Leo Burnett and Saatchi. So I called him and I said, listen, there's an advertising that's going for casting for 7-Up. Which is the first time they launched 7-Up in Thailand. Is it legitimate? So he called around. He said, yes, it's legitimate. You can go. So he called to make sure that it was safe. And I went to the casting. I got the job. And the lady who scouted me became my manager for the half part of my career.
That's nice. And then you went to MTV.
Then I went to school. I was back and forth. School was important. I went to school in England. Then I did all my studies. And as soon as I finished university, I came back and I got a job at MTV.
Filming in Thailand.
But first of all, I have this very important question to ask you.
Okay.
Are you filming in Thailand?
Well, at this particular moment in time, no. But most of my filming, you have to leave. Most of my career in the last 35 years has been a lot of filming in Thailand.
35 years.
35 years of my
I don't believe a
career
word.
has been filming it. And I told you what age I started, right? Yes, so most of the filming has been done in Thailand. I've also had the opportunity to film abroad. I have filmed in Hungary. I have filmed in France. I have filmed in America, of course. And so, yes. But at this moment in time in Thailand, no.
When was the last time you filmed in Thailand?
The last time I filmed in Thailand, about 2 years ago, was a Thai TV series. And that was during COVID.
Oof.
So that was fun. Every time I came back to shoot was a 2 weeks quarantine.
Nice.
And they still kept going, So we did the whole filming with all the COVID measures, testing and, every single day and nasal swab. So we survived that. But I live between Thailand and France at the moment. So I go back and forth and I can't do any too long filmings in Thailand for now.
So you're between Thailand and France?
Yes.
But somewhere in particular in France, I know. Corsica, one of the most beautiful places in France.
It is
it's an island.
Beautiful island.
South of France.
A very small island, and mostly, it becomes lively during the summer because we've got tourists coming from all around the world. But during the winter, where I'm there most of the time, it is really boring.
Boring, okay.
Fortunately, I found a Thai massage place.
I saw that online. I saw a picture of that.
Oh my goodness. It is my go-to place. I am so happy to speak Thai.
I thought it was yours. I think, who could open a Thai massage place in Corsica?
Because they did so well. During COVID, they had one masseuse, and then now they have 5 and they're expanding. So I think an introduction to Thai massage in Corsica was the best idea ever.
That's quite a
money-making machine, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I saw when you post pictures of your life in Corsica, it really looks like Samui. It's very difficult to know where you are, if you're in Samui or if you're in Corsica.
Well, I think the Corsicans would kill you for that. No, well, it does because we...
I want you to say that's a joke. For those who know the Corsican, we get a joke with that.
And I have to explain to the audience because the Corsicans are very known to be very patriotic.
Patriotic, yes, absolutely.
Let's say so. Everything... so I married a Corsican, a Thai Corsican. And so every time when we were dating, I would say, hey, or when we just got married, every summer it would be, let's go back to Corsica. So I would say, can we go to Greece? Can we go to Ibiza? Can we go somewhere? He said, no, because Corsica has the best beach in the world. So it would be, yes, they love their beaches. And it's supposed to be the most beautiful place in the world for them. But for me, 17 years of marriage, I was like, I would love to see another beach.
Okay.
In Europe, please. So I've never been to Greece, never been to Ibiza. I am stuck on a Corsican beach. Now I live there. And they are very patriotic. So yes, they want to,
So that's not really the idea of the show, but how do you go from Bangkok to Corsica?
COVID.
No.
Oh, you mean to fly? Oh, I was thinking, well, how did I change my life?
Okay, let's start with that. Because you used to live in Thailand. I mean, you went to study abroad, then you came back.
I came back. So while I was working with MTV, I lived in Singapore. But most of my life has been based in Bangkok. Traveling was for holiday or for a short-term work. And as soon as COVID started and they were starting to close the country, my husband packed up and I packed a very small suitcase thinking I'd be back in a few weeks.
Everybody did that. It was crazy.
Went to Corsica and it's 4 years down the road and we haven't been back yet. So so now I live there. That's how I physically moved there. How do I travel between Bangkok and Corsica? Very difficult because very much like Koh Samui, there is one airline.
You said it.
I said it. Okay. I'm saying it. I'm allowed to say it. I'm Thai. I love Koh Samui. There's one airline. So coming in and out, it's one airline, one airport. You fly to Paris.
Okay, that's easy.
And then you change airports.
That's
like
easy.
Dongmyeong, Suvarnabhumi type of thing. You change from Olay to Charles de Gaulle, and then you take Charles de Gaulle, Thai Airways direct to Bangkok.
Filming in Thailand.
Are you famous there?
In
the way you're
Corsica?
famous here?
No. But because it's such a small island, they all know what I do in Thailand. So let's say I'm famous for being the wife of a Corsican who is famous in Thailand. So they all know me. They all know of my husband, of course, because he's also a film producer.
He's a film producer, a very successful film producer.
Yes.
And a businessman.
And a businessman. So he has business here and he produces films in France. So yeah, they do know what we do. We're famous for that, I suppose.
So is it kind of a holiday, a break when you're there from your life here? Or is it the other way around?
It's the other way around. Life over there is, I'm a full-time mom over there. I don't work.
Okay.
I work online as I have business here. He works online. Most of his companies are based here. So we are running around having our own corner in the house on Zoom.
What a life.
I don't know. I really miss Bangkok. I miss life here, how easy things are in Thailand.
Comparing to France.
Even let's say you need a plumber, for example. Here, you'll get one in an hour. Over there, it might take you 2 weeks
Okay.
until their next available time as in most places in Europe, everything is not as easy as Thailand.
Filming in Thailand.
It seems that your career has been like on a rocket from the beginning. 13 years old, you become a model.
Yeah.
You go to study, you come back, you become a VJ.
Yeah.
Not a vegan, but at that time VJ meant DJ for women, VJ.
Exactly.
On MTV, at that time MTV was the place to be. There was nothing else than MTV, basically. And you were on screen very often. You had quite some shows.
I did. I had a lot of shows. A lot of the shows were live and some were recorded. And I was very fortunate to have probably one of the best shows there, which is the US Top 10 and the US Top 20. And that show was aired on MTV all around the world.
Wow.
So everyone who had MTV was watching in every country. And I really, really enjoyed working for MTV. We traveled a lot of the concerts. We traveled with artists where they would have, concerts around Asia. MTV would be either sponsoring it and I would be on stage prepping up the crowd before the audience.
So nice.
Yeah, getting the audience ready for the singers to come out or the band. Back then, boy bands were very popular. So yes, we
And they were not Korean at that time.
No, they were not Korean. They were mostly English, actually. But it was really fun to hang out with the artists, to have one-on-one interviews with them in studio. So I got a lot of experience and a lot of fun memories from doing that.
Can you share one of your memories, like the one that comes up when you think about that?
Well, how
time?
about an embarrassing one?
Please. Is it going to be embarrassing for me, for the audience, or was it embarrassing for you?
It's embarrassing for me. And this is one memory that I cannot erase out of my head. This was Ricky Martin, Living La Vida Loca. He did an Asian tour, and I think we did Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, something like that, Thailand, something like that. It was like 4 or 5 countries, and we traveled with them. Come Singapore, I thought, you know what? I'm going to wear a nice tube top that a Thai designer gave me to go on stage. And I said, this is absolutely perfect. It's cute, it's small, it shows my belly, and I'm going to look really sexy. So I go up on stage and I said, all right, everybody, Ricky Martin's coming out soon. Let's get everybody ready to dance. I start to dance. They play the music and I go... I can't even show because you can't see, so I'm gonna explain it. Oh, you can see there, but I will explain it. Please. I did a little, a shoulder bop and a little twerk, a little twist, And then the next thing I realized, I hear 5,000 people screaming. And I thought, what is behind me? Who's coming out? Is Ricky Martin coming out? No, my top fell down to my waist.
Okay.
So I had exposed my boobs to the 5,000 audience that were there.
In Singapore.
In Singapore.
So have you been transferred to jail directly, or what happened then?
I was so embarrassed. I mean, I had lifted up my tube and I just couldn't. I was like blank.
Yeah, of course.
I looked backstage and Ricky Martin was laughing his head off right behind. And I just said, oh my God, I don't know what else to say. Can you just please come out? So that was a very embarrassing moment that I won't be able to erase. And then the next day, all over the radios and newspapers in Singapore was, did you guys enjoy Sonia Cooling's boobs or Ricky Martin's ass? Which one do you vote the best for Ricky Martin's concert yesterday? Oh my gosh, that was a memory.
Filming in Thailand.
So I have a perfect quote for you from Kate Blanchett.
Okay.
She says, if you know you are going to fail, then fail gloriously.
Well, that's exactly how I did it. I failed with a big smile.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. So it's crazy. So how long did you stay in as a host at MTV in Singapore?
I think it was about 3 years, just before 2000.
Just before 2000.
Late 90s. I think I finished at 2001, I think.
And at that time, the artists that were coming to MTV, coming to you, were mainly from Europe, from the US? Or
it was all over. We also had Asian artists.
Already Asian artists?
Oh, yeah. Each country was sending in their artists. So we had Tata Young from Thailand.
Okay.
We had Malaysian bands. We had Filipino bands. We also promoted, all the Asian artists equally, as in the international artists as well.
At that time, Japan was stronger than Korea in terms of culture.
Yes, so the
J-pop.
Korean K-pop wasn't huge yet. It was J-pop.
J-pop. And then disappeared.
In the early 2000s, in the late 1990s, it was all the funky, punky hair and all that. But the music was great.
The music was
90s, you
fantastic.
can't beat the music in the 90s.
Thank you. I think we can stop the show here. You said it all.
Filming in Thailand.
Would you say that all this, what you've done during these years, prepared you for what you're doing today?
It absolutely has. Working from such a young age and doing so many diverse things have actually given me experiences and life lessons to become the person that I am. So you learn from your mistakes. Well, you should. Technically speaking, you do try to learn from your mistakes and then you try to better it for the next time. But, normal. I don't learn that easily. So I had to make mistakes a few times.
But as Kate Blanchett was saying in the quote we just shared, you prepared or you enjoyed your fail and you build up from your fail.
So we try to, everybody makes mistakes or everybody fails, and it doesn't mean life is over. You start again, pick yourself up, and the show must go on.
Some people say that success is one fail too many.
It could be because it gives you that drive to push even more and to prove to yourself and prove to others, if you want to, that you can do it.
Are you learning more from your successes or from your fails?
I'm learning more from my successes. I have to say, fortunately, I have not had that many fails. Touch wood.
That's why I'm asking, because your career is like, as I was saying, on a rocket. I mean, it started and it's on a straight line. So what are you doing today?
So because I am living in Corsica right now, I started my own business. I have my own skincare line that I did with my two girlfriends, Cindy and Kathy. And so we are...
Cynthia and Kathy.
Cindy and Kathy.
Yes. Can you
Look at Metany and Cindy Bishop.
Exactly.
That's so my two other celebrity friends, and we created this skincare brand where we have mostly online sales. And so I managed that from abroad.
Do you want to share the name of
Iconic Skin.
Iconic
It's called
Skin.
Black Rose Serum. And the reason it's called iconic is because the three of us have been, the iconic faces of the supermodel world in Thailand.
That's really true.
The
And
last 3 decades.
how many followers do you total, the three of you?
The total, the three of us would be over 1 million, obviously. I am not a huge social media person.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep having my marketing team, remind me, you need to post. I'm such a private person. I don't actually really like to do interviews so much. So this is your lucky day.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. And this is the lucky day for our audience too.
No, but I mean, it is a pleasure to be here. And speaking in English is something that I love. So it's a very wonderful moment for me to be here and share my experiences with you.
Filming in Thailand.
Something that makes me react, that public people who, have a job that put them in front of a huge audience says, I'm not a public person. You're not the only one to say that. Many
Really?
people say, yeah. And usually the more successful, the more not public person.
Yeah. Well,
How do you
I can say,
juggle with
I usually, what I post is a collection of things, of memories that I share with my friends, with my family, and most of the time I post things for work so that I can share with the fans what I'm up to right now or where I am. I do have friends if I share what's happening, and I have fans if I share what event I'm going to be at in the following days, they turn up.
Yes, that's you have a followership, quite a strong
I have
one.
a very nice group of fans, a group of ladies that are very, very loyal. They show up everywhere.
Wow.
They always come. Every TV show I go to,
That's so nice.
every game show I go to, they're always there with my favorite food, gifts, flowers. It's good. And they started because I play polo, and I play polo tournaments. They start coming to my polo tournaments, and they are my biggest cheerleaders.
Are you part of a team or you're a freelance polo player?
I play for my own team. So I am what we call the patron.
Okay.
For whatever tournament, I hire professionals to play for me.
Okay.
So it is my own team, named after my first horse called
Marengo.
which is Napoleon's white horse.
Really?
That you see, yes,
Okay.
named after the Battle of Marengo.
Marengo, yes.
And the white horse that you see Napoleon's picture, his name is Marengo. He was captured by the English. His bones are still there.
Already.
Of course. They wanted to reproduce Napoleon's most famous Arabian white horse, but they couldn't. They failed. So they kept the bones. But anyway, that's another story.
So you're playing polo,
I play polo.
which is a very strong and athletic sport.
It is very physical.
Very physical. And you are organizing your own team.
Yes. And we travel, we play. I've played in Shanti, I've played in Soto Grande, I've played in Argentina, I've played in China, and of course I play in Thailand.
Yes. Wow. So let's come back. You're doing so many things. It's quite incredible. Let's go back to maybe the movie industry, the movie scene, the TV series.
Filming in Thailand.
If I was to ask you, who are your main influences when you act, who would you pick?
Oh, I don't have an influencer when I act because I don't want to become that person.
Okay.
So I don't copy anyone, if that's what you mean. So I
didn't copy.
my influence.
Influence, let's
I
say.
mean, I follow anyone who's very talented. I don't have a particular, and people ask me all the time, who's your favorite actor? Who's your favorite actress? I don't have one.
Here goes my next 5 questions.
I don't have one. Because I enjoy a particular character from a particular film.
Okay,
say.
so let's go to our top 5.
Okay.
Who would you pick as your top 5 actors or actresses?
Oh my
Doesn't mean the one that you adore, but today, who are your top 5 actors, actresses?
I'm a little bit old school. Let me go back to in the past. Let's say Audrey Hepburn for me was someone who characteristically was so elegant, so beautiful, and a lot of the quotes. I love quoting her, by the way. And if I have to quote something memorable, something meaningful, I always pick an Audrey Hepburn quote.
Can I share a quote from Audrey Hepburn with you?
Okay, go ahead. Do you have one?
I was asked to act when I couldn't act. I was asked to sing funny face when I couldn't sing, and dance with Fred Astaire when I couldn't dance, and do all kinds of things I wasn't prepared for. Then I tried like mad to cope with it. That's a quote from Audrey Hepburn. So she was a lady.
She was a very elegant lady. So that, I mean, for her, to me, she's very inspirational. Other top actresses, wow, I don't know. It really depends on the film.
Filming in Thailand.
What do you think about Margot Robbie's performance in Barbie and the Wolf of Wall Street, if you watched the films?
I did not watch Barbie, so I cannot talk for that. But The Wolf of Wall Street, I really enjoyed the film, and I thought her performance was amazing. But I don't know, I can't compare it to Barbie. I don't know if that was a career booster or it went the other way around.
But Margot Robbie and Audrey Hepburn,
yes,
it's quite a stretch.
Yes.
Do you feel they have things in common? They share some values, some strengths, some ways to portray the characters, or no?
This is a blank. they are
Nice blank.
Completely different types of films. You can't really compare a character based on a film. Do you know? Audrey was back in the days. Sorry, my phone's vibrating. I'm going to just throw it onto the floor.
It's okay. You can even pick up if you want.
No, back in the days where life was slightly different, and the way you portray yourself as a celebrity was slightly different, I suppose. And acting has, the way you act or portray a character has also changed. You know, it's very dramatic back in the days for Audrey Hepburn, and nowadays actors prefer to be a little bit more natural.
Okay.
And not so overly dramatic like Thai TV series.
We're going to address this in the second part that is coming soon. But now, top 5 director. Sorry. So
you can't really compare.
Okay. Let's not compare.
Okay.
Top 5 directors. Can be 3, can be 6, can be 1. But is there like directors you like to, you don't pick the film, you say, I'm just going to watch a film from this guy.
I would say Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Yeah. Why not? It's always entertaining.
Now, a film that you would recommend, because this is a film you really like to watch over and over and over.
Goodness me. You know, I'm a sucker for love stories.
I can understand that. So, do you have one in particular?
Okay, first of all, I never usually watch a film twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Except for when I was young, and it was like Grease. Okay,
Grease.
That doesn't.
Olivia Newton-John.
Because I wanted to sing. I wanted to sing along. But I have at my age have watched. I really like The Notebook, and I'm a sucker. I'm a hopeless romantic.
But you watch it once, and that's it.
I've watched it more than once. I've watched it 3 times.
3 times. Okay.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tarot Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
Okay, we are back with Sonia Couling. Thank you for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. We are now going to talk about your career and the films you've been involved with. And first of all, it seems that you didn't need to have a breakthrough. You know, people in their career have like this particular film or project or event that put them in front of the audience, let them meet their audience, create a fan base. Was it a moment in your career that you consider as a breakthrough?
I did a lot of TV series. I was lucky because I was on so many magazine covers as a young model
In Thailand,
and I was scouted again for TV series.
Okay.
So my very first Thai TV series was for Channel 3. And I didn't even speak Thai properly. So I had to have a coach who could, make sure that my pronunciations were done correctly because I'd just come back from school in England.
Okay.
And then I started to grow from there because acting wasn't something that I grew up learning. And I learned as I went along, learning to act in Thai, learning to be as dramatic and learning to cry on cue and all these kind of emotions. So I learned as I went along. And I always said to myself, I would feel that if I ever won an award for a Tatong Kam, which is like what the Golden Globes of Thailand, that would be at the peak of my career. That would be where I have said to myself, I have succeeded.
That was your objective.
That was my objective. And I did so many. And I was fortunate enough to have this role where the lead character was a female. And she went through so much turmoil in her life. And it was a lot of screaming, a lot of crying, a lot of very emotional situations. And in the end, she killed herself. She was suicide, death by suicide, but a very beautiful death in a beautiful red dress. And so I put so much of myself into this that I lost my voice box. I had a voice box infection. It was on steroids just to make it through the day.
Wow.
But I got the award that I wanted. I got the Best Actress award. And that to me was, okay, I did it.
Filming in Thailand.
Because I was shooting 3 TV series a week.
3 TV series a week? Because in Thailand, it's like 1 episode a day.
Yeah, I did 1 or 2, but I was shooting 3 series
at the same time.
And some of them was taking me night scenes, some of them was taking me day scenes, and in the end I was in hospital on a drip thinking, okay, what am I about to kill myself here? What am I doing this for? So when I got the award, I took a very long break. And then a very close producer, a friend of mine who I respect terribly, contacted me and said, come back. We have an action series for you. Come back. And then I came back and started again.
So you got this award for Best Actress?
Yes.
And
for a TV series called Maya.
Is it still available somewhere?
It is.
It is?
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube nowadays.
Filming in Thailand.
You came back for another Thai series.
I came back for another Thai series, and action, because, I love action. And if you lure me back in with action, I would always say yes.
Well noted. I think all the producers listening.
I love action, and I love doing stunts. I do my own stunts. I'm crazy. I was hanging on a sling. I was doing sword fighting. I got stabbed by a sword. I love shooting, running in the jungle, getting dirty. So I'm not one of those actresses that care so much about how they look in terms of beauty.
Okay.
So I'm very raw. If I had to play a girl on the side of the street, I actually roll over on the street to make myself dirty, which I think shocks quite a few Thais, Okay. So they like their eyelashes perfect when they wake up in the morning and so on. I'm not like that. I don't look in the mirror. And I actually don't look so much at my playback either.
So that's TV.
That's TV.
And when did you start the movie?
I started first with Thai films, also more or less at the same time. I think I was in my late teens or early 20s, just going back and forth between Singapore and Bangkok. I started with Thai films, but the Thai film industry was at that time a little bit more different. That everything was more TV series, more TV oriented. Mm-hmm. So we focused on TV.
Filming in Thailand.
And then I started doing international film.
How did that happen? International film.
By a lot of the producers that came into Thailand, and we had to cast for them. I mean, they know who I am, but there's casting, and you have to actually show that you are talented enough to do it, because they don't know you. So I did a French film. I did a Hungarian film that went to France.
The French film was what? Which one? Largo Winch?
Largo Winch was a very small role, but that was fun.
Okay.
And then I did a French film just about 5 years ago called...
Oh, sure, the Paradise Beach.
Paradise Beach. And I received a new group of fans that from the African French-speaking market.
Okay.
And yes,
For Paradise Beach.
for Paradise Beach, because
interesting.
the actors on there. I mean, we had Melanie Douté. She's very famous in France. But then we also had Courchaine, who was a singer, and then we also had a few other French rappers,
Yes.
Seth Go and so on. So there was another group of fans that
From North Africa.
from North Africa, exactly, in the French-speaking. So my fan base grew. And I had a lot of people text me on Instagram, "You're so beautiful. I love your work." And strangely enough, people are still watching it because it's now on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yes.
And yeah, that was fun.
Filming in Thailand.
Meryl Streep is saying acting is not about being someone different. It's finding the similarity in what is apparently different, then finding myself in there. Is this the way you're also approaching your roles?
Yes. So going back to what you asked me earlier, who my inspiration is when
Yes.
I act, I don't want to look at any inspiration. I try to understand the character, and then I become that person, or make that person become me as much as possible. So you live, eat, breathe that character until it's over. And the hardest part of it is if it's really something very emotional and you spend all day crying or screaming or shouting, to shut that off when you go home is also something that you need to learn to do, because you build up so much emotions during the day and you need to just shut it down and finish. And then anything that happens in your private life while you're shooting, you also have to shut that out. Otherwise, that affects the way you perform.
Sure.
So it's not as easy as people think to be a good actor or actress.
Because you really have to separate
You have to separate.
your professional life and all the other emotions that could, and the other way around.
Exactly. I mean, you see a lot of great artists, they eat and breathe that character, they become that character. They do research, they have to change their body shape, they have to change the way they eat, the way they think. So it consumes a lot out of you.
Filming in Thailand.
I was shooting in England for a Thai TV series. We had just woken up and we've just done with breakfast and about to start filming. And I got a call from Bangkok. My grandmother had just passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so I was crying as I was on the phone, and I looked at the producers and I said, "Can you give me a few minutes?" And she said, "Okay." And then 10 minutes later, she goes, "We're ready to shoot." Still in tears, I sucked it up. I stopped the crying and I carried on as if, life goes on. But inside was horrible. And that's when you really had to separate. And that's something that I would, I couldn't even make it back to a funeral because we were on a very tight shooting schedule. And so during that week of intense filming, I had to separate the private life from the...
But that's quite big. How did you manage to, basically forget about what just happened, which is a major moment in life,
A huge moment.
and being happy on camera?
Well, exactly. It was a romantic scenes that we had to play, and all the smiles and everything was fake. And you just have to switch it off. And that's something that I think only comes with experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you switch off that moment and you become someone else for that shooting time. And then when they say cut, then you are allowed to go back and cry. and that did happen.
What is the name of this TV series? Do you remember?
No, but I will think of it in a few seconds.
Okay.
It was shot in. I did so many.
Yes, it's true.
I will go back to it.
But that's the one that takes place in
That's
in
the one
the
that
UK.
takes place in the UK.
Oh.
Yes.
How do you navigate between these different characters? And more specifically, how do you navigate between Thai acting style for Thai series, where, as you start to say, there is a lot of screaming,
Oh, yes.
people getting angry at each other.
Oh, but they love that, you see, because if there's no screaming,
Of
it's
course.
boring.
This is the Thai style. And I would say, maybe more
International.
international way where you don't necessarily need to scream for the whole length of the film.
So I love challenging characters. So I love characters that have a personality problem,
Okay.
or that goes through something traumatic throughout the stages of the performance. For me, that is challenging, and it's a fun thing to play because it takes you into another world, and I think I do that well. My sister always says, "You're not acting; you're playing yourself." So I say, "Shut up."
Okay.
But I prefer that kind of, and so in the Thai way, it's really over the top. It's a lot of screaming. It's a lot of eye contact, a lot of drama, a lot of tears, and the more there is, the more people get addicted to it, and that's the Thai style. I've also managed to forget about that style when I go into the more international acting, and try to do it more natural, of course, as you say, just become that role and become that person. The last film I shot was about a year ago. Oh, actually, no, I did. I was on set more than 2 years, a year and a half.
Yes.
No, it was last November.
So it's what, 6
a
months?
year? No, about 14 months ago. I played a Thai fantasy character in some village,
Okay.
and by night I was a werewolf.
Ooh, a Thai feature.
No, it's an American.
An American feature.
Yeah, it's an American film. And yes, so by night I was a werewolf.
Where do you find the resource to play a werewolf? Where? Sorry, I cannot pronounce it.
Well,
How do you say werewolf?
well, it was a lot of breathing, and it was a fantasy character, so you could make it the way you want to make it, because there's no right or wrong, right? It's what you feel. So I really enjoyed that, running through the jungles at night and turning into a werewolf.
But that's a good example of filming in Thailand. You are working for a foreign production. You're in Thailand and you're playing a Thai character.
No, it was a fantasy character.
A fantasy character,
Yeah.
but in a Thai surrounding, or not even in a Thai surrounding.
Not even a Thai surrounding. The beautiful thing about Thailand is you can transform any location into any country you want to.
Absolutely, yes.
For a fraction of the price, with all the amazing props, and that's a lot of the production that come in. Thailand we have beautiful studios, we have beautiful locations, we've got amazing cameramen, lighting crew, and I tell you, the props team in Thailand are
Amazing.
They're really amazing, and you see a lot of not only films, but a lot of big productions come in for advertising. They come in for commercials because they can shoot one of the best commercials for a fraction of the price. And I know that because we own a company that does that. U Moon Productions, we do a lot of advertising for. We did Yves Saint Laurent with Zoe Kravitz and Yves Saint Laurent Poison. So we have a lot of, we do have a lot of above line that come in, and we have all the below line in Thailand, and below line meaning the production crew, the cameras, the location, the studios, and so on.
Filming in Thailand.
So you're also a producer?
I would like to think so, but because I live there, we do have a team that does it here. But yes, I do like to produce some of my own stuff. I have produced my own TV shows before, and I'm about to produce another one. I'm in the talks with sponsors and so on for a new, a reality TV that I would like to shoot this year.
In Thailand?
In Thailand.
It's a Thai IP, a Thai content?
It will be Thai content. The IP, it was actually created by me and another...
Your crew? The
my
three,
team?
Yes?
No. It was another male friend, and we actually created and came up with the idea in a taxi in Vietnam.
Okay.
Slightly drunk.
So you're drunk in a taxi in Vietnam with this friend?
And we decided, you know what, this sounds like a great concept. Let's go produce this. And we put it together. I have 13 episodes written out. I already have a fraction of the money. A few more meetings this week, and hopefully we can get it off the ground.
Can you tell us more?
Well, yeah, it's a reality competition on finding the next online content creator, online salesperson.
Okay.
But it's you go through a lot of challenges.
Sure.
The next influencer, basically.
The next influencer. Wow. Thank you for sharing. We'll be on the lookout for this one. Yes.
But it's a really fun concept. Actually, I should talk to you about this behind the microphone.
Filming in Thailand.
So this brings us to our game. It's called the 100 million fantasy.
Uh-oh.
Imagine...
Do I win 100 million?
That's... Yes, but that's a fantasy. Imagine that you wake up and on your bank account you have just received $100 million. What would you do with this $100 million?
Is it meant for me or was it a mistake? Because if it was a mistake...
That's a very good question.
I would have to send it back.
Great. That's also
Okay,
that's a
but
good
if it
move.
was meant for
No,
me...
it's yours.
Okay. Wow. What would I do with it? I would like to see if there's something that I could change and see who actually needs it the most before I enjoy it.
Okay.
Let's do good with it first.
Okay.
So there's no bad karma coming back. Yeah, I would like to be able to, create, help those in need first, and maybe do some much needed philanthropy. But that would be the first thing I would do. I would probably start with Thailand. We have so many homeless. We have so many housing facilities that needs to be upgraded. We have so many hospitals that needs to be blah, 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 blah. And then when there's some left over, I'm going to just go and splurge and enjoy.
But you're not going to produce a multi-million-dollar movie or finance this concept you have.
What I've learned over the years is that I never use my own money to produce anything anymore.
So we are going to pause now and go to the third part, and we will start back with this thought, because this is amazing.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tarot Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
And we are back for the third and final part of Filming in Thailand podcast with Sonia Couling. Thank you very much for being with us.
Such a pleasure.
You were saying that the secret for being a successful producer is to never use your own money. How do you do that?
Well, you see, this is where failure comes in, right? We've started, I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for everybody else. It's not a formula. But when you put in your own, of course, there is your own that you need to put to get to a certain place. And then you put a package together, you put a team together, you start working on it. But when you invest your own, I think the stress level is very different. That's my personal experience. And the stress level, because you're either going to win or lose your own money, you can't concentrate on things you want to concentrate on.
Okay.
When you have sponsors and backup to be able to give you what you need to get to where you want to go, I would not use my own, because I stress too much.
But would you use your own money to produce someone else or some other people project?
If I have of course. I mean, I would of course invest in my own projects as well. But I just don't want to get to a point where the stress is like, am I going to run out of money? What am I going to do? And just, I can't concentrate properly. And of course you have to believe in your own project. Of course you would have to invest in your own project. Your belief and the love for the project that you want to create, of course it has to be valuable enough for you to put in your own investment. I'm talking on a business side of
And
things.
you're talking on the business side, and that's interesting that you mentioned that you are talking about on the business side, because the creative side of the industry and the business side of the industry are so different. They cannot talk to each other. Unfortunately, it's difficult.
It's true.
How do you manage to be a creative person, an artist, an actress, and a business person?
So I can't do both. So if
You mean at the same time?
At the same time. I mean, I can oversee both, but then I would have to trust someone who is an expert on each field. So I would get a proper creative producer to back me up and tell me that my ideas are not crazy.
Okay.
I'm not losing my mind, bring me back to reality a little bit. And then I also need someone on the business side of it to tell me are we wasting money? Are we putting too much into this particular aspect?
Okay.
Are we fantasizing too much? Can we make money back? Are we going to have return of investment on this? Is it worthwhile? Mm-hmm. So, you can be so wrapped up in the fact that you love your project so much that you may not be able to see the whole big picture. So I would rather have someone by my side who are the expertise, who can advise properly.
Filming in Thailand.
You have some actors or actresses who, direct and produce their own film because this is their passion project.
Yeah.
And I'm always fascinated by this way of acting, and then you change the hat and you become the director, and then you change the hat and you become the producer. Yeah. Have you ever been in this situation?
I have once, many years ago on a TV show, and I tell you, it's really stressful because.
What was the TV show?
It was Thailand's Next Top Model.
That you created here?
Well, we did it here. Yes, here in this office. And that was so long ago, and you learn a lot since then. And this is what I'm going to be for this new TV show that I want to produce this year. Is I'm going to have to take a little step back and not be too involved in the front of the camera.
Okay. Oh.
I will only have a very small role as a judge.
Ooh.
But yes, so I am. I mean, I do take my hat off for those who can actually do every single role, direct and act. I don't know how you direct yourself, but they have a vision of who they want to be and what they see as this character. So I guess there's no directing needed. But I can't put myself in so many different hats at the same time because I prefer to focus.
We don't have so much time today together.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for, giving us a bit of time in your very busy schedule in between so many countries.
I'm still looking forward to, doing something with you. When are we going to work together again?
But we have you were involved in a project I co-produced for TV called The Beauty Battle.
I'm waiting for why aren't we doing season 2?
You have to ask the person driving this ship.
Okay.
That I guess you were working with at MTV in Singapore.
Yes, Ying.
Ying, absolutely.
Very cool.
A good friend. And we are involved in a project called Bangkok Darling.
Yes.
That's a kind of Sex in the City in Thailand.
I'm looking forward to
We're all
think that's going to be so much fun.
And I was discussing about this with one of our previous guests at Filming in Thailand called Les Nardhauser, who said, Sonia is involved. I want to be involved.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. So let's see where it goes.
Okay. Fingers crossed. I honestly think this is a really fun project, and Bangkok has so many characters and so many things that can go right and go wrong in a story that should be fun to watch.
The story of those 4 women dropping their kids at school in the morning, and because of traffic, they are stuck together at the coffee shop next to the school, and they become friends and they share their adventures.
No, this is good. It's great. I mean, things that you can definitely relate to.
Fantastic. Written by this talented scriptwriter, Dan Smith.
Yes.
Let me share a quote.
Okay.
From Albert Einstein, asking Marilyn Monroe for a second date. I'm not sure this is true, but the quote is true. It's saying, the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at the same time. So I'm going to bring you back in time thanks to our time-traveling machine.
Okay.
So this is your chance to meet your own younger self at a moment in time and a place of your choice. Where are you going? Where are we going back with you and when?
Wow. I would like to go back to my school years.
School years in the UK?
In the UK, because that goes back to where I am the most free.
Okay.
0 responsibilities, except for to graduate.
Let's go there.
This is the time traveling machine.
Okay.
We've arrived.
So imagine you are way back in time. We are in the UK in the 80s.
Yes.
And what do you have in mind at that time?
My teenage years.
Yes.
It was where, I was the most free in terms of, we didn't have bills to pay. All we needed to do was study, graduate.
And this is a boarding school, so you were alone.
Boarding school. I was alone, but it was the best years of my life because that was when you felt so free and you learn and you start to become an adult. So I think that's where it shapes the rest of your life.
I saw that happen when we turned 50. I'm talking for myself.
Well, me too. I always say, I'm growing up soon. But I think that's when you shape to become the adult you want to be from your learning experiences, from what you have with school, and you start to have best friends, and you start to feel mature.
So you're in front of yourself.
Okay.
What advice would you give yourself?
You rock, girl. Keep going.
Filming in Thailand.
Before we part, I'd like to offer you the award for Best Guest Ever. And here we are. Zoe, our production assistant for this episode, will offer you the official Filming in Thailand mug. Please open it. It's a fantastic mug made in Thailand that celebrates our podcast with the logo of our partner, Terror Radio, Terror Documentary, and it's available on Hoodie Podcast. Voila. Thank you so much.
It was so much fun. I can't believe an hour went by, and we're all
because it was not an hour yet. That's why, you see, you're very precise.
Filming in Thailand.
It's been a thrill to have you with us. Thank you for being such a great guest and sharing so much with us today.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to see you. Next time, we're going to do it in French.
D'accord. D'accord.
We have to do like a French speaking for Thais. How to practice.
You had the English speaking for Thai.
Yes.
When was that?
My English speaking for Thais?
Yes, you had a TV show.
No. It was just I didn't do a TV show for English speaking. I think it was more something fun on YouTube.
Yes, it was not. Yeah.
No, I didn't have.
But it was interviewed by a Thai host in English.
Yes, exactly. A Thai host in English to help them, to help them understand more English.
So I was not completely wrong.
No, you were not. You did your research.
Okay, people, fantastic. That's a wrap.
That was Filming in Thailand, an original podcast brought to you by Terror Documentary on Hoodie Podcast, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our next episode of Filming in Thailand. So I want to extend a warm thanks to Lina Shamsaina Udaya and the Terror Radio team for welcoming the show, and to Brian Markar for its continuing support. Filming in...
Swadika, Brian.
Yes, is watching you.
Swadika.
And Filming in Thailand is produced by Eucerin Thailand for a podcast company with Terror Documentary and Terror Creative Lab. I am Stéphane Lambert, and Zoe was our production assistant for today. And since you want us to speak French, I would say, et voilà.
Et voilà, merci.
Is it recording? Because this is not recording. Do you mind if we redo the last 15 minutes?
What? You're kidding me.
Yes.
No.
No, it's okay. It's a joke.
I can't. Oh, it's... You kidding me. I was like, what? I have a call. Thank you. You're so sweet. Are we done?
Yes, we are. Thank you very much.
You're so sweet.
Filming in Thailand.